Two men have been jailed for killing a man and seriously injuring his younger brother after a night out at a taxi rank. Elliot Bourdon-Pierre, 25, and Matthew Smith, 22, attacked Brian Hill, 60, and his younger sibling Andrew, 53, as they waited for a cab. Brian Hill was punched and fell to the pavement, hitting his head, and he died in hospital from his injuries the following day. Andrew was also treated in hospital for broken ribs and injuries to his lungs and kidneys. After the attack, the killers asked their taxi driver to go in the wrong direction so they could view the scene. As the pair traveled past members of the public and emergency services trying to save the brothers, Smith was seen laughing on the taxi's CCTV. Related articles previous. 1 Next. Shocking moment: clubber was knocked out with a single punch. Thug who smashed glass into face of gay man he'd never met. Share this article. Share script dm.later, bundle, function, if, dm.rotator, new dm.rotator, p19, page size, 1, page count, 1.0, active class, active, rotate, false, $, number p19.share.on, click, function, dms.facebook.post related. A jury at Lewis Crown Court on Tuesday found both guilty of 1 count of grievous bodily harm on Andrew and 1 of the manslaughter of Brian. Both were jailed for 3 years for the GBH and 8 years for the manslaughter, which will run concurrently, giving a total of 11 years. The killers were seen laughing as they drove past the street where they launched their attack. They asked the taxi driver to take them back to Bourdon-Pierre's home but requested he drive back down Havelock Road to witness the scene rather than taking the quickest route. Brian Hill, left, who was killed in the attack, and his brother Andy, right, who was left seriously injured. Brian Hill, a father of 3, and his younger brother had been out together for their twice-monthly drinks at French's Bar in their hometown of Hastings, in East Sussex, when they were attacked on February 3. They left the bar at 12:40 am and went to a fish and chip shop on the same road before heading to the taxi rank to go home. It was there the Hill brothers met Bourdon-Pierre and Smith, who clearly wanted to start a fight, police said. Smith insulted Andrew Hill, mocking his appearance, and then threw the first punch at him. Bourdon-Pierre then punched Brian Hill, missing the first time, before hitting him with the second attempt. The 25-year-old also threw multiple punches at both Hill brothers, CCTV footage indicated. After the attack, Smith and Bourdon-Pierre left the scene, doubling back to the train station taxi rank. They asked the taxi driver to take them back to Bourdon-Pierre's home but requested he drive back down Havelock Road to witness the scene rather than taking the quickest route. The pair were arrested after police studied their movements on CCTV footage taken around Hastings, and from cameras in taxis waiting at the taxi rank where the attack took place. Father of 3 Brian Hill died from a brain injury a day after the attack at a Hastings taxi rank. Elliot Bourdon-Pierre, 25, and Matthew Smith, 22, attacked the Hills as they waited for a cab. Brian Hill was rushed to Royal Sussex County Hospital in Brighton with serious head injuries but never regained consciousness. He died at 1:30 p.m. the next day, with a post-mortem revealing he died from a brain injury after hitting the pavement. His partner, Jane Hode, said, "When I first met Brian, it was his cheeky smile that made me melt. I felt so lucky to have been part of his life, and I just wish it had been for longer. He was a caring, kind, loving man with such an amazing personality, and when I was having a bad day he always made me smile. He was not just my partner, but also my best friend, and there are no words that can express how much I miss him." Andrew said after the verdicts, "It was so great to have Brian living so close. I had my brother and best friend with me all the time." The Hill brothers seen on CCTV as they walked to the taxi rank at the end of their night out. "Brian was a great person, he was never rude to anyone, and I loved his company. My mental health has deteriorated since what happened, and my injuries have meant that I am unable to carry out heavier tasks. I no longer trust anyone and I don't go out. My thoughts on the world have changed now I have seen how people can behave towards others. I cannot believe that a night out could lead to my brother's death and cannot believe that this has happened and find it impossible to process or understand it. Andrew and Brian's brother and sister Rosemary and Chris added, our younger brother Andy, who survived this terrible violent crime, is still suffering side effects of the attack. We have mixed feelings over the result of court. Justice has been done for Brian and Andy, but it won't bring Brian back. Detective Inspector Duncan Elliot said, this has been an extremely sad case to investigate. This involved two young men who went on a night out drinking. They came across two older men, the Hills, and carried out an unprovoked attack on them. The combination of alcohol and the pair looking for trouble, tragically ended in Brian losing his life and his brother Andrew suffering serious physical and mental injuries. The pair claimed self-defense, but the jury saw through this after reviewing all the evidence. Nothing will bring Brian back to his family, but thankfully Elliot Bourdon-Pierre and Matthew Smith have been held responsible for Brian's death and the assault on Andrew.